Shifting from 3D to 5D is not just a concept. It's an inner transformation that shakes the very foundation of your reality. In the 3D world, everything feels heavy, dense, and limited. You often feel stuck in loops of survival, fear, and constant stress. But when you begin moving into 5D, it's like a veil is lifted. You suddenly start noticing synchronicities everywhere. Numbers repeating, strange coincidences, and signs from the universe that feel too personal to ignore. It feels like you're no longer just a person living in the world, but rather a soul consciously creating it. The air itself seems lighter, and your heart starts expanding beyond logic. In the 3D world, time controls you. You're always racing against the clock, worrying about the future or regretting the past. But as you step into 5D, time starts to lose its grip. You begin experiencing moments where hours feel like minutes, or minutes stretch into what feels like hours. You realize that time is not linear, it's fluid, and your consciousness can bend it. This shift feels almost magical. You stop being a prisoner of the ticking clock and start living in the eternal now, where everything feels infinite and abundant. One of the most profound feelings in the shift is how your emotions transform. In 3D, emotions can be overwhelming. Anger, jealousy, fear, and insecurity feel like chains holding you down. But in 5D, emotions no longer control you. You become the observer, not the prisoner. You still feel emotions, but instead of drowning in them, you allow them to pass through you like waves. Love becomes the dominant frequency. You no longer just feel love for people close to you. You feel unconditional love for life itself, for nature, for strangers, and even for challenges. When shifting to 5D, relationships begin to change drastically. In 3D, relationships are often built on need, control, or fear of being alone. But in 5D, relationships transform into soul-level connections. You stop chasing validation from others and instead connect from a place of authenticity. Toxic ties start to fall away naturally because your vibration no longer matches them. At first, this can feel painful. You might lose friends or even family connections. But as you settle into 5D, you realize those endings were actually openings to deeper, more fulfilling bonds that align with your soul's growth. Your body also feels the shift. In 3D, the body often feels heavy, tired, and sick because it carries the weight of unprocessed emotions and stress. But in 5D, the body begins to feel lighter. You may notice changes in your appetite, sleep, and energy levels. Some days you feel bursts of vitality, while other days you may feel extreme fatigue as your system upgrades. This is part of what many call ascension symptoms. It can feel confusing, but once you understand that your body is recalibrating to a higher frequency, you welcome it as a sign of your transformation. Money and abundance also feel different when shifting from 3D to 5D. In 3D, money feels scarce, and survival is the main concern. But in 5D, you start realizing that abundance is not just about money, it's about energy. You notice that when you align with your purpose, opportunities, resources, and synchronicities flow effortlessly to you. Instead of chasing money with fear, you attract abundance with trust. This shift feels liberating, like finally stepping out of the survival trap into a reality where life supports you instead of fighting against you. One of the most exciting feelings is the sharpening of intuition. In 3D, decisions are made mostly through logic, fear, or external advice. But in 5D, intuition becomes your compass. You start getting gut feelings, or inner knowings that guide you perfectly, even when they don't make sense to the rational mind. Sometimes, you'll know who's about to call or sense energy in a room before anyone speaks. This heightened awareness makes life feel magical, as if you're tuned into a secret frequency that reveals hidden truths. Nature begins to look and feel different in 5D. In 3D, a tree is just a tree, and the sky is just the sky. But in 5D, everything feels alive and conscious. The colors of the leaves seem brighter, the wind feels like it's carrying messages, and animals appear to respond to your energy. You begin to feel interconnected with all living things, realizing that nothing is separate. This deep sense of unity can bring tears of gratitude as you finally understand that Earth itself is a living being that you are in partnership with, not separate from. Another sign of shifting to 5D is the collapse of fear. In 3D, fear runs the show. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of death. But in 5D, fear loses its power. It doesn't mean you never feel fear, but you stop letting it control your life. You see fear for what it is, an illusion of separation. Instead of being paralyzed by it, you begin to lean into trust and surrender. This creates a freedom so expansive that it feels like taking off invisible chains you didn't even know you were wearing. Communication changes drastically in 5D. In 3D, words are often used to manipulate, defend, or protect yourself. Misunderstandings are common. But in 5D, communication becomes heart-centered. You find yourself speaking with more honesty, compassion, and clarity. Sometimes, you may not even need words. Energy speaks louder. You'll notice moments where you and someone else are on the same wavelength, finishing each other's sentences or understanding each other in silence. This heart-based communication feels deeply nourishing and healing. As you step fully into 5D, your sense of purpose becomes crystal clear. In 3D, many people feel lost, constantly asking, "What's my purpose?" or chasing external goals that never seem to satisfy. But in 5D, your purpose is no longer about what you do. It's about who you are. You realize that your very existence, your energy, and your presence are purposeful. This brings a deep peace and confidence, because instead of searching for meaning outside yourself, you radiate meaning from within. Life stops being a struggle for achievement and becomes a dance of self-expression. Your connection to the universe expands beyond imagination in 5D. In 3D, spirituality often feels like a belief system, something you practice occasionally. But in 5D, spirituality becomes your reality. You feel the universe responding to your thoughts and emotions instantly. Manifestations come quicker, and synchronicities align with your desires effortlessly. It's as if the universe is whispering directly to you, guiding you at every step. This feels surreal at first, almost like magic, until you realize it's not magic at all. It's the natural state of alignment that was always available to you. In 5D, creativity flows like a river. In 3D, creativity is often blocked by fear of judgment or by the pressure to make money from it. But in 5D, creativity is pure expression of the soul. You might suddenly feel inspired to write, paint, dance, sing, or start new projects that feel aligned with your heart. The fear of "what will people think" dissolves, and you create just because it feels good. This creative freedom is liberating, and often, your creations naturally inspire or help others, adding to the collective shift. The way you experience challenges completely transforms. In 3D, problems feel like obstacles, punishments, or setbacks. But in 5D, challenges are seen as opportunities for growth and expansion. You no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you ask, "What is this teaching me?" This shift in perspective is powerful. It allows you to move through difficulties with grace and trust, instead of fear and resistance. Suddenly, life feels less like a battlefield and more like a classroom for the soul, where every challenge is a stepping stone to higher wisdom. Energy becomes something you consciously feel and work with in 5D. In 3D, most people are unaware of energy. They only notice physical things. But in 5D, you begin to sense vibrations, auras, and energetic shifts in people and spaces. You may walk into a room and instantly know the mood, or meet someone and feel their energy before they speak. This sensitivity can feel overwhelming at first, but eventually, it becomes empowering. You learn to protect your energy, raise your vibration, and surround yourself only with frequencies that nourish your soul. Gratitude becomes your natural state in 5D. In 3D, gratitude often feels forced, like a practice you need to remind yourself to do. But in 5D, gratitude flows effortlessly. You wake up thankful for being alive, for the air you breathe, for the smallest signs of beauty around you. This constant gratitude shifts your vibration so high that abundance and joy naturally follow. It feels like your heart is always full, and instead of needing things to make you happy, happiness flows from within and spills into everything you touch. Judgment begins to dissolve as you shift into 5D. In 3D, comparison and judgment dominate. comparing your life to others, judging people for their choices, or criticizing yourself constantly. But in 5D, you begin to see everyone as a soul on their own unique journey. Instead of judgment, you feel compassion. You understand that no one is behind or ahead. Everyone is unfolding perfectly in their own timing. This creates a sense of peace and acceptance that makes interactions smoother and relationships more loving. Dreams also transform in 5D. In 3D, dreams often feel random or meaningless. But in 5D, your dream state becomes a powerful portal. You might start having vivid, lucid dreams where you receive guidance, visit other dimensions, or meet loved ones who have passed on. These dreams don't feel like imagination. They feel real because they are real on a higher plane of consciousness. Waking up from these dreams leaves you with a sense of wonder and a deeper connection to the unseen realms. The biggest feeling of shifting into 5D is freedom. In 3D, life feels like a cage built of fear, rules, and limitations. But in 5D, you realize the cage was always an illusion. You feel free to be yourself without apology, free to live authentically, free to trust the flow of life. This freedom is not about rebelling against the world. It's about liberating yourself from within. It feels like flying without wings, a sense of limitless expansion where you finally know you are infinite. Ultimately, shifting from 3D to 5D feels like waking up from a long, heavy dream. In 3D, life is survival, struggle, and fear. In 5D, life is love, expansion, and alignment. The shift is not always easy. It comes with challenges, endings, and moments of doubt. But once you step into the frequency of 5D, you would never trade it for anything. It feels like coming home, not to a place outside yourself, but to the truth within you. And the most beautiful part is, you realize the 5D world was always here, waiting for you to see it.